Welcome to Invest in Yourself, the Digital Entrepreneur Podcast. Join the podcast mogul Phil Better as he interviews successful entrepreneurs that make their living in the digital world. Now, let's join your host, Phil Better, and his special guest today on Invest in Yourself, the Digital Entrepreneur Podcast.
Welcome back to Invest in Yourself, the Digital Entrepreneur Podcast. I am, of course, your host with the most, Phil Better. And if you don't recognize me, that's fine. We are live streaming for the first time to two different places, and it's because of my amazing guest, Danielle Fitzpatrick-Clark. Danielle, thank you so much for being here.
Oh, it's my pleasure, Phil. I'm so excited.
I'm excited to learn about your journey and share with your group, because we are going into your Facebook group and onto your LinkedIn page, which is strange for me because I'm usually doing this to a YouTube channel that no one else sees. So I'm going to try my best. I'm used to doing live stream, but this is brand new for me, Danielle. So thank you for this opportunity and allowing me to pop this kind of cherry. We already got our first comment in. This is amazing. Hello, Rita. Thank you so much for being here and watching us. Danielle, obviously your audience knows a bit about you. And from following you and reading your stuff in your group, but my audience doesn't. So could you introduce yourself? Let us know a little bit about yourself before we jump into the whole shebang.
Yeah, of course. Well, I'm Danielle Fitzpatrick-Clark, for those that don't know me. And my company, so I'm the founder and CEO of Influence Builder. And Influence Builder is a digital marketing, influencer marketing, and then also a PR and podcast placement agency. So that's what we do. I've been in entrepreneurship for 16 years. So it's kind of official that I'm a terrible employee and probably can never go back. And so that is what it is. And, and this is the other thing that's kind of funny is that, once you're that and then you get into like boss mode, CEO mode, then you're kind of like a boss. And so that's a little bit about summing up, but I am nice on top of being a boss. Not that the two are, not that you can't have the both of them, but that's a little bit about me and my company.
Awesome. So being a bad employee, was this something that you noticed 16 years ago, or was it something that you just realized like in the last 16 years?
I mean, can you actually be born a bad employee? Because if that's possible, then I'm pretty sure that I was. I like to do my thing. I've always been like that. Kind of came out on fire and stayed on fire. And, I like to do the things I like to do. And I really don't want to be told anything else. But I'm very collaborative. So I like to tell people before, like, oh, she's a boss. I don't want to work with her. We can't bring her in on this project. Actually, I'm really collaborative. It's a little bit different. There's a freedom piece to being an entrepreneur and wanting to try new things. And so that's actually one of my core values too, is freedom, like being free to do the things and try the things that I want to do, because I am a really big proponent of testing and tweaking, and I'm very curious. And so it's more of like I need to get my hands dirty and try new things. And so I think my experience with being, because I have been an employee, is that we do the things that we do, and this is why we do them, and this is why you have to do them. So yeah, I'm not good at that. I'm just not.
It's understandable. Like, I feel the same way. It's like you have these ideas. The bosses don't necessarily want to hear those ideas because they're like, no, that costs us money, or it doesn't make sense, or it didn't come from me, so I don't like it. And then that just makes us bitter employees. But anyways, that's just what I feel.
Yeah.
And whoever chooses to agree with me is there. But when you knew from a young age, so from a young age, did you know you wanted to be an entrepreneur, or did you go down the route of being an employee, figuring out, oh wait, I'm a bad employee?
Okay, so I wanted to be a lot of things. I'll just be really clear. So the first thing I wanted to be was a veterinarian because I love animals. So if I was to say, okay, and so maybe I always want to be an entrepreneur or a business owner. I think I always had the idea that I was going to do my thing. And kind of everything else around that was like, I'm going to so veterinarian, I was going to be a lawyer, own my own business with that too. No way I was going to work for anyone else in that as well. And and then actually I was really interested in psychology, and I ended up getting a degree in environmental science. So that really Space out. And so then I thought I was going to be a farmer when I got an environmental science degree because I grew up on a farm. So, and
There's still time. There's still
there's still
time.
time. I mean, I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about it. We got to get some land though, for sure. But that's that was kind of the whole scope of what I was thinking growing up. And most of it had to do with me being my own boss. I think the only time I was considering not being my own boss is when I was thinking of psychology. And I mean, that I knew you need to get your feet wet and work with other companies. And but in the end I was like, I'm gonna have my own business. So I think I always did know I was gonna have my own business. Yeah.
All right. That's interesting because like a lot of people don't think like all the jobs you were looking at, like, the veterinarian, you own your own
Yeah.
vet, your own little clinic to help animals, the psychologist, eventually you'll have your own practice and that. And the farmer, obviously a farmer is their own boss, unless you count the animals, which kind of rule the farm,
Yeah,
but
they
still,
can. They can.
you
Yeah.
don't have any
Animal and
human
children do.
bosses. You have no human bosses. You have animal bosses, which is fine. Animal bosses are much easier because if you don't like them, you can send them to slaughter and make meat pie. Really dark there for a moment. I'm sorry, folks. But so you kind of always had like this somewhat independent streak
Yeah.
with what you wanted to go on. How did you end up working in the influencing world?
Oh, yeah, that's a great question. I'm still surprised by it, honestly. If I'm going to be real, like everything that I've been doing since college, I never planned on. So every day's a surprise. We'll just say that, and that's actually a really great way to live. But I'm a heck of a writer. I always have been. Got published in. I'm from northern Maine, so I got published in. They have. I can't remember the name of it, but I got published in fifth grade and then again in seventh grade. So they have a main book every year for kids that want to get published. And so I had short stories published. I got awards in high school for writing. My high school wasn't really big, but it was a state thing. So yeah, I'm a good writer. I've always been a writer. And so I started wanting to find something from home because I didn't want to be an employee. That's what happened. And so I became a copywriter. I also wrote magazine articles and then freelanced and then content. And so I've always written. I've just writing was how I started. And then I started working for companies that were digital marketing companies, online production companies. 'Cause they all need writers. They all need copywriters. Because I like to get into everything hands in. I started asking like, well, why am I writing this copy? Where are they going? Where are the clients? Where are the customers going? Well, they're going to the sales page. And okay, so what are you guys putting on that sales page so I can see, so I can match? And so, and then I just kept getting into like the next piece and the next piece and the funnels and the follow up and the sales. And so, what I wanted to do, what my intention was, is to kind of get an overall view of why am I even writing this piece of content or copy? And they needed help. So they're like, "Well, do you think that you can figure this out?" I'm like, how to do a sales funnel? Well, create a sales? Sure. Let me give it a go. So that's how all of this started until again, me liking to be my own boss. I'm like, "Okay, bye. I'm going to go do my own thing and run my own agency." And and then I'm really good at strategy. And because of my curiosity and wanting that full scope, that full view of where clients are going in the online space and why are they going and what makes them take action, um, a digital marketing agency was born. And so with digital marketing, there's all these different things, but you can kind of see the trends and where things are going. And so we've had a big boom in influencer marketing. And to me, influencer marketing is like the ultimate in thought leadership. So if you can get people to follow you and like the things that you're saying, you must have really cool thoughts. So that was like the natural curiosity of mine and just like, okay, let's start doing some influencer marketing. And what makes somebody follow an influencer, what makes somebody click on a link that an influencer puts out for them, and what makes them buy from the company the influencer is working for. And so curiosity, and then like, oh, well, we can actually pair this up really well. And so now we do influencer marketing too. So I hope that gives you guys like a good idea of like how I do it. Obviously, I do things piece by piece by piece by piece, but it always starts with curiosity.
Which is good. Like I was always curious because I love talking to people and learning about people. That's my curiosity, and it's usually a safe one. I don't get hurt too much, like curiosity killed the cat.
Yep.
But it also brought it back. I prefer the safer side of curiosity, asking people about doing all the crazy stuff that they've done in their
Yep.
lives while I'm safely in my house.
Yep.
Just interviewing people. That's the danger of my curiosity, if you will. Sitting in a room asking questions. But would you have changed anything in your life so far, knowing what you know now and where you've come?
Yeah.
Was there any point in your life where you're like, I really wish this didn't happen, I'm going to redo it, or I wish I went down this route instead of that route?
Yeah, that's a really good question and a loaded one at that.
We'll stick with business. We'll leave personal outside, because that's always that's a jar of worms that I don't want to touch.
All right, so this is just kind of my motto for life, is that everything that I did before has got me to where I am right now. So as long as I'm happy with where I am and where I'm going, which I am, then everything was on purpose. So
I like that. That is a good motto to have. Everything happens for a reason, and it brought me to where I am. I like that. If I snap my fingers, where's Danielle in 5 years from now?
Yeah, good question again. Another loaded one, because now I gotta reveal the plan. Okay, so
you don't have to reveal the whole plan. You can just say, "Here, this is where I would like to be."
Yeah. Okay, so in 5 years, I do have a plan to write another marketing book, digital marketing. Haven't quite decided the angle of it because there's just so many to choose from, and we've got another thing coming in that's going to really change up the digital marketing space, which is AI. Mm-hmm. So to be determined on what the book title is and necessarily about, but it will be around digital marketing. And I really think it's already happening, but more speaking. So I think that where I'm going to be is more of a thought leader, speaker, author, and that's where you're going to see me more, rather than curiosity kitty here doing all the things, doing all the implementing. So it's just where I'm heading now, and so it's going to be more bigger in 5 years.
The next level.
The next level, yeah.
Okay. What is it about helping people become thought leaders that you enjoy?
Oh gosh. All right. So this is what I love. I love it when people are living their own bliss. It's the most fascinating thing, and to see how, I mean, you can even look at it in an instant when somebody's talking about something they don't love, and then you ask them a really good question and something that they're actually interested in, and then their whole face lights up. You can see that kind of transformation. So with thought leaders, I love where they start and then where they go and how they become. And it's a process, right? It's part of the journey. They're always improving. But that's fascinating to me. And the transformation that needs to happen to an individual in order for them to, I don't want to say have a thought, but have a thought that they can get behind, that's really powerful. And I think most people have these anyway. They just don't realize it. So helping them realize it is pretty amazing. So if I'm to give you one word, I love the transformation.
Hey, transformations are so powerful. It takes us to a new place, but also with thought leadership, it can transform lives in an instant when you start that transform. We do have a question from the audience, which I'm not really used to during interviews. I'm usually the one asking questions, so I'm going to pop this up. It's a great question from Okamar Kadei. Can anyone do, I hope I pronounced your name right now. I apologize if I made any mistakes, sir. Can anyone do digital marketing without money?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, you don't have to have a huge budget to start a company with digital marketing. I think it starts with having an expertise. So if you have an expertise, it's all about sharing the expertise with the people that need it. And there's I can't remember who was talking about it, but I heard this a couple of weeks ago. Sometimes the best people to work with is people who are where you were at. So a couple people say 2 steps behind, 5 steps behind of where you were, but it's that entrepreneurial spirit of, I created a solution that I had to learn for myself because nobody had it available at that time. So really, And digital marketing is the same way. What is it that you do really well in a very specific way that nobody else but you can do, but your ideal client, which is a past version of you, needs right now? And so if you're going to start with digital marketing, you don't need money, you need an expertise.
I like that. Yeah, it's true. You the more the deeper your expertise goes. It's I think it's Tim Ferriss says go an inch wide and a mile deep,
Yeah.
um, so that you can become the expert in the situation. And it's true. The more expertise you can get in a given place, the stronger it is, stronger you
Yeah.
become, and the more thought leader you become. You can start becoming that
Right.
thought leader.
Right.
It's the first step to becoming a thought leader is just becoming an expert
Yeah.
in whatever you want. Um, what's a win that you've had for with a client that you care to share that just cements
Yeah.
why you do what you do?
Yeah. So one of my clients, she was okay. So there's a couple different turning points within this one, but she came in at a time where I was like questioning, like, should I really be doing this? Do I really want to be a digital marketer and run this agency? And we all have those, by the way. So I'm not going to be shy about telling you. I've had those thoughts of like, oh, it's time to run away. Um, just like go and hide. Maybe I'll get a farm now and hide with my animals. But she came in at a time where I was really questioning, and I was running a challenge on how to get booked on for speaking gigs. And she just killed it. She just came in and I mean, she owned the challenge, but not only did she do the best in the challenge, but she like booked out for months within a 3-day period. And now she's gone on to speak for BMW. She just had and I'll tell her this. I'm like, yeah, like, I didn't create up and tell your name, but she's a rock star speaker and she speaks on stages all over the world. She had a reality TV show where it was people coming in and they were pitching to get more money, and she was the pitch master on it. So I mean, just watching her transform over the years, and she's going like even bigger places than that. That's been like a huge win for me, just experiencing um that particular industry through her eyes and seeing her grow and grow and grow. And yeah. So, and it was just funny how she came in. It was just because it was a time where I was just like, maybe I should be an employee.
And it's always the ones that I found speaking with so many entrepreneurs. It's when you're at your lowest that the
Mhm.
superstar client comes in, or the
Right.
client comes in that just revitalizes your goal to be who you are. That helps you go forward. Do you feel the same way?
Yeah, I think that like again, it's everything happens for a reason, right? And it's just and I think this could be a female thing, but we tend to need to, when we're feeling like that, we kind of need to go back. We need to go and like, okay, so I left myself a little breadcrumb here and here. So going back in that memory vault and just remembering this is why you're here, this is why you're doing. So it was a really good. I mean, she wasn't a crumb; she's like the whole cookie, but but you guys kind of understand what I mean. Is that that's a really good memory that now I can pull in whenever things are just like, maybe I should be an employer. I should sell my company or I should do this. Because things seem a little hard right now. Those kind of that memory bank can be really important. Um, but yeah, it does seem to come in right at the time that you most need it.
I love it. If you could go back to your 10-year-old self
Hmm.
and give yourself one piece of advice, and I don't mean don't give up
Uh,
or
yeah.
you got this, we're going to do anything, but like something that will actually take you, maybe
Yeah.
speed up or save you some issues. What
Right.
kind of advice would you give your 10-year-old self?
Yeah. I mean, for my 10-year-old self, I would, and this is what I try to do with my daughters, is that it's not about you, it's about them. And it's really just how to start looking at everybody around you, because I think, with human beings, especially those who especially when you're younger, you kind of think that the world revolves around you. And so what everybody's doing is directly correlating to you doing something right or wrong or whatever. And then you grow up and you're just like, yeah, Yeah, everyone's got their own stuff going on, and it's actually how I perceive the world and how people are reacting within that world that is affecting me, and not what they're doing, not what they're saying, not who they're being around me, what they didn't do for me. That's not even about me when it comes to them, but how I react to it is. So something like that is what I was like. It doesn't even matter. Like, it doesn't even matter. Like, really, what you need to do, my 10-year-old self, 10-year-old Danielle, you need to focus on what makes you happy, what lights you up. And that's actually where you're supposed to go in the world. So, yeah.
That's some great advice. That's a great piece of advice. If
Yeah.
I wish I had that advice when I
I know,
was
right? Me too.
wisdom does come with age, ladies and gentlemen. It's not a false saying. That's a true saying. Um, do you have anything big on your plate right now
Yeah,
that you
I do.
can kind of tease about or talk about? I don't want to
Yeah.
get you in any problems or anything like that.
I know. I've got some stuff to do before. So, and I think you and I talked. There's a couple things that are coming up. So I'll just talk about one of them. And one of them is that I'm going to launch a new podcast, and I'm really excited about it because it is going to dive into the more transformation, thought leadership pieces that I just really want to go there, and I've been wanting to go there, and now I get to talk to people who want to go there too, and it's going to be called Minds of the Mighty, and so we're interviewing celebrities, professional athletes, world record setters, singers, artists, people who you see on TV, but now we get to see them on a podcast and a video cast. And so I'm just really excited to kind of pick their brains and see, like, what was it like when you were striving to win the Olympic gold medal or win a Super Bowl, or when you were looking to, you know, be on this film with this amazing actor, and then what did it feel like when you got there? And so that's that's kind of, I'm just really excited for it. And so that's coming out in a couple months, and we are just getting our guest list together, and it's really exciting. Can't say anything yet, and plus I don't want to either, because you guys just need to follow me, and just, I've got, you guys can also DM me here on LinkedIn or Facebook and get the email subscription link and sign up, and then I'll tell you more. But yeah.
I know a little bit of the people that are coming on.
Yeah.
I got before we recorded, and I'm hyped
Yeah.
because I can't believe some of the people you have coming on, and I'm
Yeah.
super excited to listen to it. So definitely check the links in the show notes down below, or if you're already friends with Danielle, send her a message and get on that link, because it's going to be worth your time.
Yeah.
Danielle, though, we are coming to the end of the episode, which really
Yeah.
sucks because I'm having such a great time with you and talking, learning all about you. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump off the screen here. I'm going to let the audience know. Half the audience that are watching already knows how to get in contact with you. But we're going to do the other half of the audience. Let the audience know where they can contact you, how they can get in touch with you, anything you want to let them know. So the floor is yours.
Awesome. Well, guys, like, the best way to get to me is actually through LinkedIn. So you guys can go and just search Danielle Fitzpatrick Clark. I am the only one, for now. I mean, unless somebody wants to steal my name, but go ahead and just find me on LinkedIn and connect and follow and send me and my team a message. Yeah, and we can always let you guys know, like, what is the link for that email subscription list, so that we can notify you about the podcast when it launches.
Awesome. Danielle, I can't thank you enough for coming on, sharing your story, sharing some amazing advice to the audience, and being my first guest. So popping my cherry, doing a live interview on someone else's social media. So I want to thank you for allowing me to have that privilege.
You did so good. I'm so impressed.
I can tell you I'm sweating buckets. The back of my shirt is like see-through from sweat. I can tell you that much. But it was a pleasure chatting with you. I look forward to staying connected with you and helping you in any way I can.
It's so great, Phil. Thank you. I really appreciate you having me on, and sharing me with your audience, and then being able to share you and what you're doing with my audience. Always fun.
collaboration is the only way that we grow here in the entrepreneurial space. With that said, Danielle, another thank you to you for being on the show. To my audience, thank you for listening. To Danielle's audience that's watching, thank you for watching, asking your questions. It was a pleasure chatting with you guys and sharing Danielle's story with the larger audience in mind. And always remember to invest in yourself.